Once upon a time, in a small village in Nigeria, there lived a kind and beautiful princess named Laura. She was the daughter of the great Oba, king of Benin, and everyone in the village loved her because she was always helping others. Laura was not like other princesses who loved to sit in the palace and wear fancy clothes. She loved to go out into the village, play with the children, and listen to the stories of the elders. Her favorite place was the bustling market, where she could hear the sounds of traders calling out their goods and smell the delicious aroma of roasted plantains and akara. One sunny afternoon, while Laura was walking through the market, she saw an old woman sitting by the roadside. The woman looked very tired and hungry. Her clothes were torn, and her feet were covered in dust. Laura felt sorry for her and decided to help. She bought some food from the market, a bowl of steaming amala and ewedu soup, and gave it to the old woman. The woman smiled and said, "Thank you, my child. You have a kind heart. I want to give you something in return." The old woman reached into her bag and pulled out a small black clay pot. It looked ordinary, but the woman said it was a magic pot. "This pot will give you whatever you ask for, but you must use it wisely. If you are greedy, it will bring you trouble," the woman warned. Laura thanked the old woman and took the pot home. She placed it in her room and wondered if it was really magic. That night, before she went to bed, she decided to test the pot. She said, "Magic pot, I am hungry. Please give me some pounded yam and egusi soup." To her surprise, the pot began to shake, and in a few seconds, a big bowl of pounded yam and egusi soup appeared. Laura was amazed. She ate the food and thought about how she could use the pot to help others. The next day, Laura went to the village square and saw that many people were hungry because there had been no rain for months and the crops had dried up. The villagers were struggling to feed their families, and the children looked thin and weak. Laura's heart ached for them. She ran back to her room, took the magic pot and said, "Magic pot, please give enough food to feed everyone in the village." The pot shook again, and suddenly the village square was filled with baskets of yams, rice, beans, and fruits. There were also jars of palm oil, bags of gari, and even fresh fish. The villagers were so happy and thanked Laura for her kindness. From that day on, Laura used the pot to help the villagers whenever they were in need. She asked for clothes for the poor, medicine for the sick, and even toys for the children. One day, Laura heard about a little boy named Toby who had broken his leg while climbing a mango tree. His family was too poor to take him to the medicine man, so Laura went to her room and said, "Magic pot, please give me medicine to heal Toby's leg." The pot gave her a bottle of herbal medicine, and Toby's leg was healed in just a few days. The villagers began to call Laura the Princess of Kindness, and her fame spread far and wide. But not everyone was happy about Laura's good deeds. In the same village, there lived a wicked man named Chief Owaze. He was a greedy chief who loved money more than anything else. When he heard about the magic pot, he thought, "If I can get that pot, I will be the richest man in the land." Chief Owaze went to the palace and asked to see Princess Laura. When he met her, he said, "Princess, I have heard about your magic pot. I want to buy it from you. Name your price." Laura shook her head and said, "I am sorry, Chief Owaze, but the pot is not for sale. I use it to help the people in the village." Chief Owaze was angry, but he pretended to smile and said, "Very well, Princess. But if you ever change your mind, let me know." That night, Chief Owaze sneaked into the palace and stole the magic pot. He ran to his house and said, "Magic pot, I want a big bag of gold." The pot shook and gave him a big bag of gold. Chief Owaze was so happy. He said, "Magic pot, I want a house filled with diamonds." The pot gave him a house filled with diamonds. Chief Owaze became greedier and greedier. He asked for more and more until his house was overflowing with treasures. But he still wanted more. Finally, he said, "Magic pot, I want to be the richest man in the whole world." This time, the pot shook violently, and instead of giving him more treasures, it began to suck everything inside. Chief Owase's gold, diamonds, and even his furniture were pulled into the pot. He tried to hold on to his treasures, but the pot was too powerful. In the end, Chief Owaze himself was sucked into the pot. The next morning, Laura discovered that her magic pot was missing. She searched everywhere but could not find it. She was very sad because she knew the villagers needed the pot to survive the drought. Just as she was about to give up, she heard a loud noise coming from Chief Owase's house. Laura ran to the house and saw the magic pot sitting in the middle of the room. She picked it up and heard Chief Owase's voice coming from inside. "Help! Let me out!" he cried. Laura said, "Magic pot, release Chief Owas." The pot shook, and Chief Owas was spat out. He fell to the ground and looked around in confusion. When he saw Laura, he bowed his head in shame. "I am sorry, Princess," he said. "I was greedy and wanted everything for myself. Please forgive me." Laura smiled and said, "Chief Owase, it is not good to be greedy. The magic pot is meant to help others, not to make one person rich. If you promise to change your ways, I will forgive you." Chief Owase promised to be a better person, and from that day on he helped the villagers instead of taking from them. Laura returned the magic pot to the palace and continued to use it to help the people. One day, the old woman who had given Laura the pot appeared again. She said, "Princess, you have used the pot wisely and helped many people. But now it is time for the pot to go to someone else who needs it." Laura was sad to let the pot go, but she knew it was the right thing to do. She handed the pot to the old woman and said, "Thank you for letting me use it. I will never forget the lessons it taught me." The old woman smiled and disappeared into the forest. Laura never saw the magic pot again, but she continued to help the villagers in any way she could. She became known as the kindest princess in the land, and her story was told for generations to come. And so, the village prospered, and everyone lived happily ever after. The end.